Our next tale comes from Iran, where the internet is both a lifeline and a fight. It's an intriguing narrative, and it's now gotten a fresh twist. Iran is easing its control over the internet. It lifted the prohibition on two platforms, WhatsApp and Google Play. WhatsApp and Google Play have previously been prohibited in Iran, but now the dictatorship is bringing them back. The authorities have voted on this decision. They think this is the first step towards lifting internet restrictions. It is unclear when it will go into force, but the message is clear, especially in a country like Iran. It's a significant concession for their people. You may wonder, why now? Why is Iran suddenly allowing internet access, and may this decision backfire? To comprehend this, we must look back. For years, Iran has maintained tight regulations, with the world's tightest internet bans and widespread censorship. This country blocks access to 70% of the internet. This covers platforms like as YouTube, X, Instagram, and Telegram. You cannot get them in Iran. The strengthening of controls began in 2005. That is when Iran established the National Information Network, NIN. It resembles China's Great Firewall. It enabled Iran to keep track of what was going on the internet and who was using it. The government could see it all. In 2010, Tehran was even given a new nickname, the enemy of the internet. That's what they were called, and it lasted for years. In 2019, a big protest erupted in Iran. The regime shut down the internet in response to a protest over fuel. There was a total blackout. In 2022, this happened again. Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old woman, was assassinated by Iran's morality police. Her crime? She's not wearing her hijab properly. This sparked protests across the country, and the authorities responded with a crackdown and another internet shutdown. Which gets us to 2024. Iran has elected Masoud Pezeshkian as its next president. He is a moderate. One of his key promises was to loosen internet regulations, and he now appears to be doing the talk. But that's only half the story. There is a lot more at play here. Iran's economy is in tatters. People are hurting financially. There are devastating power outages. There is a fuel shortage. The rial has crashed. All of this influences public opinion. It places pressure on the regime. They're on the verge. Public discontent that accumulates over time is the most hazardous thing for any regime. Add to that their international issues. Iran's allies have been ousted. Iran's proxies have weakened. And an old foe, Donald Trump, is returning to power. They cannot afford another demonstration at home. As a result of the compromise, internet restrictions will be relaxed. It's like making a peace offering to the public. It could have two purposes. First, stimulate the economy. Businesses that use these platforms can restart operations. It could lead to new opportunities. Second, it may alleviate public frustration by increasing digital access. Iran is essentially attempting to pacify its populace. However, there is a catch, as well as some historical lessons. When a dictatorship opens the door to freedom, it is difficult to close it again. Take the Soviet Union as an example. In the 1980s, Gorbachev liberalized the economy. He promoted free speech and increased access to knowledge. The goal was to make the political system more transparent, but it just fueled public dissatisfaction. There were upheavals and independence movements, and eventually the Soviet Union crumbled. The same goes for Arab Spring nations. Regimes facing criticism implemented minimal reforms, at least some of them did. They intended to please the populace while maintaining power over the country. It didn't work, though. The regimes were toppled one after another. So while governments like Iran believe that concessions will benefit them, they also provide people with a taste of freedom. It's like blood in the water. Once the public has received some, they want more. Could Iran be taking the same path? Honestly, it's too early to say. We do know that internet access empowers individuals, and in a country like Iran, this may be the start of something much bigger. Only time will tell whether this is a positive or negative change for the government.